It is said that wars are only won upon the anvil of honor.
Others believe victory requires strategy and a mastery of power.
War is deception. A game played best from the shadows.
Only strength and raw power can assure total dominance.
But of course, you could forget all that and just have fun! Hearthstone! Heroes of Warcraft!
Hi guys, and welcome back to another how to play Hearthstone video. And today we're going to be talking about some other form of mage decks you can build. I know that a lot of you guys kept asking me, well, you were thinking, why go with the build that I went with instead of this build, that build, etc, etc. So we're going to go over the deck real quick. We're going to take a look at the Spell Power YouTube video deck that I built. Plain and simple. It's right there, nothing's changed, haven't altered it. But I've also gone ahead and built a minion style deck. We've still got the Arcane Missiles, but we've now got some mirror images in there. Elven Druids for counter, Arcane Explosion, Frostbolt, Acidic Swamp Ooze, Arcane Intellect, Raid Leaders, again, for your minions, Shattered Sun Cleric for the buff, only one Fireball this time around, and only one Polymorph, only one Chillwind Yeti, and only one Dragoning Mechanic, only one Senjin, 2 Water Elementals, only one Frostwolf Warlord, and only one Gurubashi Berserker, with 2 Boulder Fists, 1 Flame Strike, and 1 Stormwind Champion. Now you're probably thinking, and here's the mana curve. Now you're probably thinking, why only ones at the late game? Simply put, because you're only going to need ones. This is only enough to get you going till you can start unlocking some of your other cards and abilities. Now, I'm going to focus on the mage for now. And what we're going to do now is, as you can see, I have some dust saved up from some cards and boosters that I've had. So we're going to quickly go into the crafting mode real quick. I'm going to take a look at some of the cards that I do have that are part what's known as the classic set or the original sets. Now, as you can see, I own some secrets, and I'm going to be getting into building a secrets deck. But not right this second, because the secrets deck that I do have has some Naxxramas cards and a few other cards in it. For example, I'll let you take a quick look at it. Here it is. We've got 2 Zombie Chow, 2 Flame Cannon, 2 Frostbolt, 2 Unstable Portals, 2 Mad Scientists, 2 Sorcerer's Apprentice, 2 Counter Spells, 2 Mirror Entities, 1 Big Game Hunter, 1 Illuminator, 1 Kiran Tor Mage, 2 Fireball, 2 Polymorph, 1 Ethereal Arcanist, 2 Kenzin Mystic, 2 Pilot Shredder, 1 Loatheb, and 1 Sunwalker. Now, bear in mind, I am in the process of building this deck myself. It's my own personal deck that I've designed and built. It's mostly built around secrets and countering secrets. So if you come across a mage that's playing secrets, you can all go ahead and play your Kazan Mystic to counter said secrets. It's also good against Secret Hunter. Not so good against Warlocks, because Warlocks, as always, usually don't get that many secrets, if any. And but it's good against the Secret Paladin, Secret Hunter, Secret Mage. Not so good against Warrior, because Warriors really don't use secrets. So that's a deck I've been building. But in order to use these sort of cards, you're first going to have to get a booster pack. Now, what I'm going to go ahead here is I'm actually going to go ahead and go to the shop. Now, as you can see, I have 145 gold, which is enough to buy a booster pack. Now, I'm not going to buy anything from the Goblins and Gnomes. I'm actually going to buy some of the basic original cards. Now, the reason being is, yes, granted, the Goblins and Gnomes is the newest expansion, and the Goblins and Gnomes do have some really fun cards, like Dr. Boom, among others. However, you're still going to rely on the core classic set of cards. So that's what we're doing here. And again, we're on a budget, so as you can see, I'm not buying anything with money, because frankly, I don't have any. Because you guys, well, pretty much, I'm a poor player. So I'm going to just get the one pack with the gold. Fine. There we go. Got our pack. Now I'm going to escape to go back. Now here you see it says packs and 1. So we're going to open this pack by dragging it across. Packs up. Now, before you touch the cards, okay, you can highlight the back of the card, and if it glows, you've got something above a common card. So here blue means rare. So I've got 1 rare and 4 common. So a Wisp, Sorcerer's Apprentice, Mirror Entity, Blood Cell Raider,
Rare.
and a Blood Cell Corsair. Click done. We're now going to go to our collection to view our new cards. And there's the Blood Cell Corsair. His ability is Battlecry, remove 1 durability from your opponent's weapon. It's really not that good, so I'm actually going to dust this guy. Basically, I'm going to disenchant him. There we go. Now he gave me 20 dust. Now, I have a whole bunch of extra cards, because as you saw, and it earned me more dust. So I'm up to 200 dust now. Now, what for 200 dust could we buy to make our starter deck better? Good question. We could start at maybe getting ourselves a Leponome. It's a good starting card. It's a 2-1 for 1. Death Rattle, deal 2 damage to an enemy hero. It's a good aggressive card if you want to go aggressive. We could also get Abusive Sergeants. Now again, these cards are really cheap to craft. They're 40 dust to craft. So, or an Ardent Squire. Ardent Squire is a good little card. It's 1/1 Divine Shield that you can easily buff. It's ideal for Paladins, Clerics. You could, in theory, put it in a Shaman deck with a Rock Biter, turning her into a 4/1 with a Divine Shield, but only for 1 turn. So it's really not that cost effective. Of course, you have the Angry Chicken. I only have it because simply it's just a fun card to have. I don't play with it, of course. Then you've got the Hungry Crab. Again, this one is a epic, and it's only to counter Murlocs. What else is there you could get? If you're going to go staunch defense, you could go with a Shield Bearer in a Cleric deck, because he's a 0/4 with Taunt that you could easily inner fire him and make him a 4/4 with Taunt. What else is there? Amani Berserker is a good card to start off with if you really want to go with a warrior deck. You can use your some of your warrior abilities to really get him enraged, get him up there. I really wouldn't bother with the South Sea deckhand. Has charge while you have a weapon equipped. Really useless in the class that doesn't retain a weapon. So if you're a rogue, great. If you are a warrior, great. A paladin, great. Shaman, great. If you're a druid, a cleric, a druid, cleric, or mage, not so good. Or even a hunter, not so good, because you won't really get a weapon in your hand that much. Again, Blood Cell Raider, again, she works well with weapon-based classes. Direwolf Alpha is not a bad card to start off with. Reason why it's not a bad card to start off with is because it's actually good in a Warlock weenie deck, or a minion deck, where it's about creatures buffing other creatures. If you're looking for a good 2-drop, you really can't go much. Oh, there you go, Iron Beak Owl, another good card you could put in there. Battlecry, silence an enemy minion. Sick and tired of Stormwind Champion buffing the enemies to ungodly amounts, you can use an Iron Beak on him. Loot Hoarder, another good card that you could add to your collection. Reason being is he gets to draw a card, he's a 2/1, and most people just tend to either ignore him until you make him scary, or realize, oh crap, you know, he's going to draw a card. Now, Mad Bomber's ability is kind of out there. The Battlecry deals 3 damage to randomly split amongst all other characters. He could hit your own creatures, he could hit you, or he could hit all of the enemy. Again, it's RNG. So if you're into fun playing, I've seen some people make an RNG deck that have Mad Bomber in, and they're absolutely hilarious to watch. Total Biscuit is one of them that come to mind. Now we're mostly going to look at common cards. I wish I could just set it for just common cards, but unfortunately we can't. Acolyte of Pain, again, another good card, all-round card to have in a lot of majority decks. Reason being is it's the card draw factor. You always want to have the ability of options. Remember what I said in the first video. Options are your best friend. Youthful Brewmaster, again, is a very misunderrated card. If you play a card that has a really good battle cry, like, I don't know, just a random creature, Mr. whatever, summon, draw 4 cards. You can then use the Brewmaster to bring them back to your hand, use them again. So you get more double for your money. For example, there is a, there you go, Battle Cry for the Cold Light Oracle. Each player draws 2 cards. You could, in theory, Youthful Brewmaster him back to your hand. Do you see what I'm saying? So in theory, you're now getting more cards for your value. Again, Earthen Ring Farseer. Battle Cry, restore 3 health of a target creature you choose. So again, we're mostly going to be looking at commons. Another good card is Flesh Eating Ghoul, a very another misunderrated card. Reason being is if you're playing a Murloc deck or a deck that has a lot of really... I tend to try and drop Flesh Eating Ghoul turn 2, turn 3. Turn 2 if I have the coin, turn 3 if I don't. Reason being is a 2-3 for 3 is kind of a bit, you know, since how there are better 3 drops, for example, Injured Blade Master, which we'll get to. But it's the fact that he gets +1 attack. So if you play him in a Warlock deck, and you're constantly sending 1/1 imps in, they're buffing this guy to an ungodly amount, which you can use to either wipe out a huge powerful minion, or you can use it to go straight to the face. As we was mentioning, Injured Blade Master. However, this guy is a rare, which means he's going to cost you 100 dust to craft. Imp Master, again, another good card that combos with the Flesh Eating Ghoul. However, again, she costs 100 dust, so we're mostly going to focus on commons. Another good 3-drop common is the Harvest Golem. You're getting 2 creatures for the price of 1. You're getting a 2-3 for 3, which is on stats. However, its death rattle is you get to summon a 2/1 damaged golem. Bear in mind, okay, you're getting another creature when this one dies. Now, another good card that I suggest most players save up some dust for and get is Mind Control Tech. Now, I only have 1 Mind Control Tech, and as you can see, he costs 100 dust. But his battle cry is if your opponent has 4 or more minions, take control of 1 at random. Which, if you think about it, is actually pretty cool with the advent of Dr. Boom and a few other legendaries that summon more creatures. For example, Onyxia, when she's a legendary, when she's summoned to the battlefield, she fills the rest of the field up with 1/1 Dragon Whelps. You can drop a Mind Control Tech and run the risk of actually grabbing Onyxia. Do you see what I'm saying? And all because of Mind Control Tech. Now, let's see. Raging Worgen, again, is really good for warriors. Not so good for most other classes, simply because the Wind Fury and the +1 attack on the Enrage isn't worth it, in my opinion. Scarlet Crusader, again, another good healthy drop card you can put down 3rd turn. A 3/1 Divine Shield for 3. If her health was a little bit higher than that one, it would be a good call, but it's not. Absolutely useless cards to have, honestly, is the Thuromere Farseer. A 2/3 Wind Fury for 3, you think, great, I can buff it with Rockbiter, or with, as a cleric, you can buff itself, hit it with an Inner Fire, smack, great. But unfortunately, it's only got 3 health, and you're gonna lose it a lot to Dark Bombs, to Paladins, Swords, and various other, because the 3 health is the common health that a lot of classes can actually dish out with low mana cost. So you're kind of putting all your eggs in one basket, and I don't have that playstyle. Tauren Warrior, a Taunt, Enrage, +3 attack. Only, honestly, if your opponent's playing Murlocs and he doesn't know what he's doing. Other than that, I would skip the Tauren Warrior. What else is there? Ancient Brewmaster. Now, 5/4 for 4. Stats-wise, is still on par compared to most other 4s, and he has a battle cry, return a friendly minion from the battlefield to your hand, very similar to the Youthful Brewmaster. However, this guy is a lot more stronger, so you could use the Ancient Brewmaster to bring back, you know, your Cult Master after you've gotten enough, or your Mogushan Warden who's taken a lot of damage. You can youthful it back to your hand. Turn 5, you know, turn 6, you can drop Mogushan again and swing with your Ancient Brewmaster. Dread Corsair, again, unless you're planning on using him specifically in a pirate themed deck, I really wouldn't. And frankly, it's just not worth it. Granted, he's a taunt and costs 1 less per the attack of your weapon, but it's kind of useless if you don't have a weapon. So for rogues, it's mostly he's only ever going to cost you 3 unless you Poison Blade. For 2, which still you're not making the mana. You know, you're not getting your mana's worth. What else is there for a good common? A Dark Iron Dwarf, Cult Masters, these are all good selections. Mogushan Warden is a good selection. Silver Moon Guardian, not so much. The fact that he's a 3/3 for 4 with a Divine Shield is just not worth it, because usually by then most people will play where is he? Blood Knight? I believe, is it Blood Knight? No, yeah, we'll play Blood Knight. Now, of course, I don't own a Blood Knight, but he is a battlecry. All minions lose Divine Shield, and he gains +3/+3 for each shield lost. So, Blood Knight is a clear counter to a lot of Divine Shield creatures. So I tried to shy away from a lot of the Divine creatures if I have to. Now, Spellbreaker. Basically just an Iron Peak Owl on steroids. He's a 4/3 for 4 with a battle cry, silence an enemy minion. Now, there is a downside to using a lot of battle cry creatures, which is if you actually take a look in the Nux Ramus set, which unfortunately there, I'll just take a look at all of them real quick. If you take a look, there's a card you can obtain from the Nux Ramus set. I'll have to exit craft mode real quick. There it is. Called Nubra Weblord. Minions with battle cry cost 2 more. So you don't want to constantly rely on battle cry minions, because it's going to get to the point where they're just not worth it. Again, a rather fun card to play with is a Doomsayer, especially in a cleric deck, because you can easily silence him. You know. Which is absolutely hilarious. Play it, watch the opponent sweat, especially if he's got no cards in his hand. If he's got no cards in his hand, you know, you can circle it, you know, and then he's now 0/7, you can inner fire, he's now a 7/7 for 2. Which means that can now actually deal with any legendary pretty much. What else is there we can look at? Apart from Spellbreaker, Silverhand Knight. Again, you're getting 2 minions for the cost. A 4/4 for 5 really, in my opinion, isn't worth it. If he was a 4/4 for 4, then it would be. Stranglethorn Tiger. If you're going with a hunter build, a really good card. Reason being, the stealth. And other than that, there's actually another beast real quick. Let me just look at him. There he is. Jungle Panther. A common card. If you're going hunter route, go with the Jungle Panther. He's a 4/2 stealth for 3. So if you've got him on the field stealthed, your kill command now does 5. And it's not like he can be singled out because he's stealthed. Unless you want to swing with him, of course. Of course, after you buff him. So you have those. What else? Venture Co. Mercenary. Venture Co., in my honest opinion, is a fun card. But the negatives is your minions cost 3 more. So if you're running a weenie deck, he's actually a detriment, not a bonus. Of course, look at his stats. A 7/6 for 5. They obviously had to have some sort of drawback to him. And the downside to Venture Co. Mercenary, apart from the 3 cost, is the fact that a lot of people will leave him on the field. They'll either, if you're fighting a Paladin, guaranteed he's going to get debuffed to his attacks only 1. And you've now got a 1/6 that you can't do anything with. That's now nerfing you. So I tend to shy away from that. Spiteful Smith, again, if you're playing a warrior, great card. Other than that, I'd leave it a B. Fen Creeper, a 3/6 with taunt, great all-around card to put in some decks if you're just starting out. What else is there? Frost Elemental, great if you're going with Freeze Mage. I'll be building a Freeze Mage deck, just not right now. I'm still working on obtaining a few cards for it. What else is there? Wind Fury Harpy, I wouldn't touch it. Any creature with Wind Fury just really is not worth the extra mana, which you're seeing. A 4/5 that costs 6 with Wind Fury is not worth it. As you can see, I really don't even have any legendaries. See? Because the card packs aren't nice to me. Some legendaries that I would suggest you obtain either through crafting or either through booster packs that are keepers. Sylvanas, she's great in pretty much all decks. Sylvanas Windrunner. Death Rat will take control of an enemy minion. She's a 5/5 for 6. Baron Geddon, great in warrior decks, because again, most warriors work on damaging their own minions to buff them. So, you know, look at getting the Baron Geddon. Black Knight is definitely a must with the introduction of Nuxramas cards that have a lot of taunt, Annoyatron being one of them. I've seen so many high-ranking players lose just because a player drops an Annoyatron, of all things, an Annoyatron. So, you know, a Black Knight is a good card to think at getting. Ragnaros the Firelord. Again, with the advent of Blackrock Mountain, there's now missions where you can actually turn your champion into a copy of Ragnaros. But if I was you, I would actually look at getting a copy of Ragnaros. Again, I don't have it. Again, I'm trying to save up the dust to obtain him. What else? Alexstrasza. Alexstrasza is a great card if you're looking at trying to get into the top 10 legendary set. Her battle cry, setting a hero's remaining health to 15, is amazing. It's, in my honest opinion, it's a bit overpowered, because especially I've seen a lot of rogues use Alexstrasza in combination with Eviscerate Abyss, and then sending in either Arcane Golem or sending in Leroy Jenkins, but Leroy got nerfed. Ysera, she can be a fun a legendary to have, plus the fact that she's a dragon. Again, Blackrock Mountain is mostly focusing around dragons, so you know, you want to look at getting maybe a few dragons. Onyxia, not so much. Onyxia will actually hurt you in the long run. Battlecry, summon 1/1 whelps until your side of the battlefield is full. Again, as I was telling you, Mind Control Tech, I've actually done it. I've used the Mind Control Tech on a player who had an Onyxia, and I actually stole his Onyxia, and the first thing he said was GG and quit. So then of course you got your giants. You got the Mountain Giant, Molten Giant, and a few others. What else is there? Mountain. Let's take a look at all of them. So in the giants, you've got Clockwork Giant, costs 1 less for each card in your opponent's hand. Interesting counter to hand lock. Sea Giant costs 1 less for each minion on the battlefield. And of course you've got Deathwing, the ultimate dragon. Battlecry, destroy all other minions and discard your entire hand. So she costs a lot only just to be big game hunted, you know. Now if she destroyed both yours and the opponent's hand, I would have to say that would be a little bit OP. But other than that, guys, when it comes to crafting cards, and again, I've only been mentioning the commons. I haven't mentioned the rares or the legendaries, mostly not yet. I'll be going into those in a following video to this one. Again, guys, I'm just covering the basic cards that you get in the basic set, in the classic set. As you can see, these are all just the classic cards from all the classes. So again, we're gonna go look at the mage again real quick. And of course, you know, I've got the majority of the cards here. I don't have Ice Barrier. I don't have Spellbender. I could get me a second Kieran Tor Mage or a Blizzard, which I'm not going to. Archmage Antonitus. Everyone says if you don't have one of these in your deck, you're not a good wizard. That's not true. Archmage Antonitus is a good legendary. It's a class legendary, so only mages can use this, with the exception of a few other ways. Unstable Portal, of course, which is a mage card, which clerics can steal, which is absolutely hilarious. And there is one legendary that has the ability, when he dies, summon a random legendary. So there is ways other classes can get Archmage Antonitus. But personally, I feel that Archmage Antonitus is a bit overrated. He's a 5/7 for 7, and whenever you cast a spell, add a fireball spell to your hand. So unless you're purposely building a constant burn deck, he's really not worth it. And of course, Pyroblast, deal 10 damage for 10 mana. Most face mages or spell mages will rock one Pyroblast in their deck as that final knockout punch. Of course, I've only got the one Vaporize. Secret: when a minion attacks your hero, destroy it. So that does not trigger on Ragnaros's ability because Ragnaros is not technically attacking. Just FYI. And that's pretty much it. Again, Aldor Peacekeeper, he is a rare. He was the creature I was telling you about that most paladins will play to nerf your Venture Mercenary. So there is that. Again, before you start crafting cards, don't bother looking at the rares and the legendaries. Look at the backbone of your deck, which will be the common cards like Explosive Trap, Freezing Trap, Snipe. You want to look at the basics. I have built a Trap Hunter deck. It is pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. But again, guys, you know, I hope this video was helpful to you on learning the basics of, you know, buying a booster, opening a booster, and using the dust and stuff to get the cards that you need. Now, I need to do a little simple disclaimer here, guys. Don't forget, when you purchase a cards, you're spending real money. Okay, so if you have your PayPal or attached to your account, your PayPal will get billed, or your credit card will get billed. And if your money is not in the account to cover it the first time, they'll warn you. The second time, and it has happened to some people I know in the past, they will actually still go ahead and charge you, give you the cards, and then your credit card will start adding on charges and surcharges, and that's not good. That's never fun. Okay, so I'm going to end this video here with a stay safe, have fun, keep your spells flying, keep your enemy minions dying. Your Cobra Commander is out.
It is said that wars are only won upon the anvil of honor.
Others believe victory requires strategy and a mastery of power.
War is deception. A game played best from the shadows.
Only strength and raw power can assure total dominance.
But of course, you could forget all that and just have fun! Hearthstone, Heroes of Warcraft.